Welcome back to Real Talk. We are here again and happy to have you here. We always have such a great time. You know, this is a safe place where we have real conversations. We have real people. Nothing is scripted, and we're able to really solve the nation's problems. Just come to us. We got it. But I am Dr. Kim Brown Barber, better known as Dr. Kim with Journey to Becoming, where I'm basically there to help you on your journey, knowing it's not only about the goal and getting to the destination, about the journey also and what you glean from it. And also with me is my co-host, Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochelle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rochelle Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, owner and founder of Blissful Living for You. And Blissful Living is a beautiful company, and you can go to my website and check it out to learn more at blissfulliving, the number 4, the letter U.com. And I'm excited to be here with Dr. Kim and discuss this topic because I think it's really important that we voice our thoughts and words of wisdom behind our discussion this evening. So take it back, Dr. Kim.
All right. And first of all, everybody, I know the ones of you guys who are a part of our community. I'm having technical issues. That's why my picture is not there. So, just act like I'm there. Just look at the picture from last time and then just act like that's right there. How about that? But at this time, because the time goes so fast, I want to go ahead and have our panelists to introduce themselves, and then we're going to get started because I want to make sure that we can glean from each other today. So let's start with you, Synovia.
Hello, everyone. I am Synovia Williams. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. I'm all the way on the East Coast. And so I'm a director of the TRIO Talent Search Program at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I'm the vice president of the Florida TRIO Association as well. And so I'm so delighted to be in the company of all these amazing and extraordinary women. So thank you all for having me tonight.
Awesome. Yay. I feel like we better get the mic ready to drop, Rochelle. I feel like it's going to be one of those nights. All right. Janet.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Janet Sanchez Matos, and I am located in South Monterey County. I have been an administrator in this district for the past 15 years, and I'm currently the principal at Greenfield High School. So thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Kiana, round it out. Okay, Kiana may be having some technical issues. I know that she is actually driving back from work and just to be with us. She's really pushing in to do all that. You know how we are as women, multitasking. We had a conversation about multitasking too, but that's for another day. Go look that up. But Kiana Ritchie is with us as well. And once she's able to introduce herself, she will as we answer questions. She can be able to take time to do that. So we are happy to have Kiana Ritchie with us from California as well. So today's question, okay, because I want to get right to the question. If you were electing a woman president today, all right, today, what characteristics would that person have? What would that look like? And why? I mean, take your time and talk about it because then we're going to dig into it a little bit more. But what would that look like? Let's start with Janet. What would that look like? You were electing a woman president today. What characteristics would she have, and what would that look like?
Us females tend to have different leadership characteristics than males. I believe that as a female and as mothers and as wives and sisters and daughters, and you mentioned it, we have to have the characteristic to be good leaders to be able to multitask. We just said it. If you cannot juggle everything, and I don't think that men are as good as doing that as females are because we kind of grew up that way. You have two different things. We have to a female leader has to be able to delegate. And sometimes us females want to do everything. you know?
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
and we as females need to, I will need that female leader to be able to delegate. I would need her, and I think we're really good at this, to put others' needs before her own. And I think females were able to do that. Because we were raised to raise a family. We were raised to be providers. We were raised to,
Mhm.
do everything. So those are the three, and I'm going to let the other panelists, because I have a list.
Well, you know what? We're going to hear from that list too, because we want to get into that. So you're talking about being flexible as far as to be multitasking, and you're talking about being able to delegate. That's important. And like, your top five. Let's say your top five. So what's your other two? You named three of them. What's your other two?
Surround yourself. She needs to be able to surround herself by her weaknesses. And what I mean by that, so like an example, like I hire my weaknesses. I there was, when I was principal at King City High School, I knew that my assistant principal needed to be a white male.
There you go.
Because I was a weakness,
There you go.
So that would be my number 4. And the other thing is the ability to make sure that nothing is personal. You gotta, nothing is personal. You agree to disagree, and the next day is a new beginning. Especially if you're going to be the president of the United States. Don't hold those grudges and let it go. Because sometimes us females, we can hold those grudges. And, we bring them back years later. Remember the time you did this. So I would say multitask, be able to delegate, put others' needs before you put your own, surround yourselves by your weaknesses, and be able to let things go. Nothing is personal.
Yeah, you can tell she's an administrator. She's checking things off the list, y'all. I see you,
and I'm taking notes.
I love it. I told you, Rochelle, I feel the mic drop coming tonight. All right, Zenobia, talk to us.
So for me, what I did was I came up with an acronym for president.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Maybe 5 minutes before we got on, but
it's all good.
But this is just a testament to who we are as women, right? We are able to pivot and everything. But that's not my P. My P is poised. So she is a woman that is poised. Okay. R, she is revered and respected. E, she's ever evolving. S, she is strategic. I, she is intentional. D, she is dedicated and determined. E, she is efficient. And why? Because this is necessary. And then T, most importantly, she is talented. I think of with the president, and we're talking about governing the United States, right?
Right.
But above the president, there is a queen. And we heard already from Miss Rochelle that she is the queen of feeling fabulous.
Right.
Somewhere along the way that we as women have lost, maybe not even lost, maybe we don't even know the queen that lives within us. And so in operating and moving and living in your authority that is given to you naturally. We forget about that sometimes, but we have opportunities like today as reminders of who we are as women, and we can operate and be presidential in everywhere we go and everything that we do, and not limited to our politics, right?
Right. Oh, wow. I'm loving it. We got acronyms. Okay, for everybody, they have to hear this. So I missed E and N because I was too busy writing all the rest of them. What was E?
D is dedicated and determined.
What was E?
E is efficient.
Okay, and N?
N is necessary. So why? It's because it's necessary.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Do you see that? Poised, revered, evolving, strategic, intentional, dedicated and devoted, efficient, necessary, and talented. Drop the mic. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love this. The conversation that you guys are bringing to the table is amazing and awesome and necessary, because these are all the things that a lot of women could, be able to be qualified for, right? So I'm loving this. So Rochelle, talk to me.
Okay. So with regards to what the lady said in the qualities, I agree 100%. And if I had to add anything else, because I think they got it covered, I think you have to be honest. You have to have integrity. You have to be able to trust those that you work with or that are your subordinates. You don't necessarily have to like them, but you have to trust them because you are hiring some, or you're putting people in positions where your weaknesses lie, which makes you strong, right? So you have to trust them. Definitely have to have some type of integrity, and you have to really be the queen that you are. And most women, for the most part, we look at things that's going to be good for everyone because we're inclusive, right? We can be catty and all that, but for the most part, we're inclusive. We want things to be good for the good of the whole, not for the good of one seed in that whole. So I think that comes with it as well. You have to be smart. And if I had to say a person, and you guys know who I'm gonna say, if I had to say a person that epitomizes everything we're talking about, I would have to say it would be Michelle Obama. She is all of the things we're talking about, and I know she's not interested in being
right. I was gonna say she's
right.
made that very clear.
Okay, but she's all of those things. And if there was another woman that had those same kind of qualities and characteristics and integrity and just pizzazz about herself and confidence in herself, but not being boastful with it, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul that steps up to the plate that we could all get behind, then for sure. But she has to have all of those things, and she has to be able to have a little balls when it comes to playing with the boys, because you can't go in there being soft. You gotta have some kind of so I'm just saying, and that may not be the right word, but that's the word that comes to mind, because you have to be able to deal with those that are going to push you beyond your limit and still stand with grace and integrity in your 5-inch heels and tell them what to do and where they can go in a nice, eloquent way.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we are already off to a great and awesome start, and already we only have like 16 minutes left. I'm like, my gosh, no. So I want to get down into this. There were 10 must-haves that the Women's Media Center had put out during 2011, and this is like when Hillary Clinton was getting ready to run and everything. So the Women's Media Center was putting out the 10 must-haves that they had looked at. They looked at credentials, they having government experience or at least a successful campaigning experience. They said not just campaigning for your spouse. They said fundraising, being able to have the ability to raise money on the campaign because the campaign is expensive. Charismatic or at least dynamic, to be able to, they said charisma is more of a disqualifying trait for women, such as they said Washington Governor Christine Gregory, but it ended up being something that could be effective and highly effective for their opponent. Assertiveness, they said push that dynamic character in a woman. But they said, but yet you can't be too pushy. You have to know exactly the right amount of push. Mm-hmm. An attractive appearance, it says appearance to be front and center in the media. You have to be able to look at that. Now, and I'm going to ask you questions about this in a minute. The right look. It says you have to have even though you don't have to look masculine, but you have to have like a more authoritative masculine look. It says the dentist stature spouse, which I was like, what? You're always learning something new, right? It says women who are aspiring to be in presidency must have no spouse problems. They said the problem might be a spouse whose business is in trouble or questionable. They said the problem might be a spouse who cannot be successfully scripted. They said Elizabeth Dole experienced this difficulty, and so did Hillary Clinton. But they call it the dentist stature spouse. Okay, heterosexual orientation. They said at least for now, and this is back in 2011, so that probably doesn't go for now, right? Yeah. But that's 2011. Just thinking. That's why I said keep in mind this was right before Hillary Clinton went in. Restraint when it comes to playing the gender card, right? They said women now aspiring to the presidency must remember that their gendered struggle is with only part of their audience, not all of their audience. So they have to know how to tap into the other part. And rhetorical finesse, being able to use your words to finesse rhetorical questions. So what do you have to say about that? Now, we know a lot of it's dated, of course, because it's 2011, right when Hillary Clinton was going in as presidency. So this came to the front line. So what are your thoughts about those must-haves, and what would you change? Because I know we only have a little bit of time left. So I want to go ahead and start with Synovia this time first.
Well, the first most immediate thing, because I am a single woman, is about the spouse.
Okay.
You know, for me and for so many women that are out there in society, society and social constructs have conditioned us to thinking that you are not whole if you are not married.
That's right. That's right.
You know, but still, as a married woman, you have to be whole in order for that relationship to operate.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so, you know, maybe changing the paradigm on that, shifting that paradigm, and just knowing that, you know, she can operate because she has her cabinet.
Exactly. Come on now, drop the mic. We're dropping the mic one more time.
Yes. And then also I think about spiritual laws, right? And in spiritual laws, there's a spiritual law of gender. So with a woman, even though we are women, but when we are in leadership and administration, it's a little bit more of a masculine energy that comes out. And sometimes that can be a little intimidating, right? But for her, she would know how to balance the two, to allow her femininity to step up where it is, you know, where it's necessary, but then also exercising the masculine energy as well, making those decisions. And, you know, and sometimes I'll be crying, getting myself dressed, going to work, right? But when I hit that door, there's no tears here.
Exactly.
No tears here. But allowing yourself to be vulnerable and still being a woman as well, I think are must-haves too. The credentials, absolutely. I want somebody too who's running this United States to have the credentials, to have that work, that grit within them. The charisma, yes, that's there. Assertiveness, yes. Attractive, all of that. All of that other stuff I really do agree to some extent. But yeah, learning how to balance all of those different energies and learning how to balance you as a woman too, and staying true and authentic to who you are is a must-have for me.
Okay. Wonderful analysis. Thank you. All right. So Janet, what are you thinking? What did you think about the 10 must-haves that the Women's Media Center had back in 2011, right before Hillary Clinton was getting ready to run?
I think they're very traditional, clearly man-made and old-fashioned. But sadly, the reality.
Mic drop.
So what I mean by that is, you know, sometimes we oversee a good candidate or a good potential person because of their appearance, because of what they look, because of how much they weigh, because of an accent, because of the color of their skin. And it's very, very sad. Even though they might have the right credentials, and right experience, they check everything, but they don't check that image that we want the United States to look like. And that is very, very sad. And I think that when you are talking about a female and we talk about the balance, you know, with that assertiveness, that authoritative, to be able to stand up to the men-dominant leadership powers, it's sad that when a woman thinks linear, when they're straight to the point, where they make difficult decisions, and when they are cutthroat because we need to be, we are called what a bee. But if it's a man doing this characteristic, oh, what a strong leader.
Right.
You know? So we need to look beyond the gender and just look at the leader qualities they bring to the table, and stop stereotyping based on ethnicity, you know, based on color of skin, but based on what sex you are, and, you know, or what your sexual preference is. So we need to stop doing that and just concentrate on what the qualities of the leader that we're looking for.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing. That is so amazing. I love the compare and contrast you both did, and Janet, how you were talking about bringing it into this century, right? and really talking about coming out of the box. You know, it's like a set box, a set image that like you have to fit in this box, in this image, like you said, to be able to be considered in a presidential position. It's like, well, if you don't have this and you don't have that, then you can, well, I mean, who's to say, and if you look at history, who's to say that being in that box that always says it's going to promote success, right? Who's to say that is going to be the element for success, is to be in that box? That doesn't equate to success. So I agree, like you were talking about, with the leadership qualities and what they can bring and the different other pieces, instead of having that like box and image of, this is when I think of the president of the United States, this is what I see. So awesome. All right, Rochelle, talk to me.
Well, I, kind of thought, well, the criteria that you were reading it's very outdated. It is really, you could tell, was probably constructed by a male, or male set of population set of from the males. Don't agree with any of the things that they say or any of the stuff that's in there, because it is totally gender biased, I think. I think when you are a strong woman and you're able to lead, you do get classified as one way or another. And for me, give me all those names, because I wear them with a badge of courage, because I know deep down inside that I am who I am. And if you saw that, then it must have been something that's going on in you that you don't like, or you're denying about yourself, so you're projecting it onto me. Now, I'm not saying that that's not true. It definitely can be. We all have those, qualities and tendencies, so to speak. But it doesn't mean that we're being some kind of way when we're determined about getting our point across, or trying to have other people understand our side, or even making a decision that's not always agreeable to everyone. We shouldn't be called any kind of thing. We shouldn't have to be married. As far as I see, the male politicians, they have as many women and their wives as they possibly can, and no one's surprised about that. But let some woman want to, and they're not married, or don't have children, or not married and don't have children. It's a whole different conversation. That has nothing to do with what you're doing with regards to the public office. So, I mean, I agree with what the ladies have said, for sure. And I think that polls like that are meant to keep us separate, so that we don't connect and unite and balance and support each other. It's meant to keep us separate. And that's why it's so important for us to have conversations like this and dialogue like this, because the younger generation of women, some of them are not as submissive as they would like them to be. And they definitely aren't following that criteria that's listed in 2011. Because I know my daughter is not like, And so, and the three of us aren't either, to be honest, or the four of us aren't either. So, very
exactly. But these are barriers that women face. Let's just be honest. Even though we are having the conversation, and that's why it's real talk, that these are not equitable qualifications, right? It's not inclusive qualifications when you talk about presidential candidates. However, this is the reality that we live in, which means these are barriers that need to be overcome. So it's like any other barrier for women. When we've had the barriers, what do? We overcame. And so these are barriers that we will overcome, and then we will continue to move forward to where we need to do. And we already know that's why they have many different organizations that are even preparing women these days, not maybe for the presidential piece, but they're preparing them politically, right? So that they have the credentials. Now, because they already know they got to come in with the credentials, right? To have some sort of campaign success and experience. And they have to have some experience with fundraising to be able to raise money. But they're preparing them with those type of skill sets, right? So that they can be able to be a qualified candidate. And so we need to these are things that we need to overcome and be ready to know how to overcome these by showing up. Every time we keep showing up looking like who we are and being, as Synovia said, our authentic self, then we're taking down another barrier. So as we get ready to close, yes, already, I want you guys to give a closing statement of anybody. Suppose somebody is thinking of maybe even not presidential right now. Maybe it's a political position that they're thinking about. What would you say to that woman? what would you say to that woman? And let's start with you, Janet. You have 1 minute. Well, not even 1 minute, 30 seconds. Okay, that's 15. No, I'm just kidding. You know I have to mess with you, Janet.
I would say that believe in yourself. You have the potential to accomplish anything you set your mind to as a woman, and do not let anyone tell you otherwise. And you have a large supporting group of other women that will stand behind you. So share your platform, share your vision, share your dream, and believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then no one will. It starts with you. And share the passion, share the vision, so that we can jump on board.
I love it. Yes. All right, Synovia, last words, 30 seconds.
Last words, 30 seconds. I'm thinking of an advertisement by Nike, and it said, just do it. Just do it. Step into it, own it, receive it, and do it.
All right, Rochelle. Go ahead and give us your last. You've got 30 seconds.
Okay, so I would say just put on your shield of armor, be brave, bold, and that unstoppable chick. Walk in your 5-inch heels like you walk in the catwalk like Naomi Campbell, and own it, claim it, and just brush everybody off that don't fit your mold, because everybody's not going to fit your mold. And then you don't need to get to everybody. You just need to get to those that truly believe and support you. So be brave, bold, and unstoppable. That's what I would say.
All right. And so as you already have the floor, go ahead and close us out if you don't mind.
Okay. So thank you, ladies, Synovia and Janet. I love the conversation, and Dr. Kim put together a really great topic. If you are watching us or hearing us, please subscribe to the show and tell people about the show, because this is a place for women about issues that affect us women. It's open, candid. We have beautiful conversations. And the more we can share this show with the women out there, the better we can bring a harmonistic synergy and uniting us. So when we do have a female that we want to get behind as running for president, we can stand together and support her and kill it in our life skills. And so I'm turning it back over to you, Dr. Kim.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening, this morning, wherever you are, because they're watching and listening in different parts of the world and different places at different times. So thank you for being a part of the village and the community. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.